do you have some examples of like some of the motors and things that you use for bike builds? Or?
Let's start with the battery because that's right here.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different kinds of batteries that we can put on your bike. This is actually made in a factory. It comes from China, and inside are any kind of battery cells that you might be interested in. And if you don't know much about battery cells, we can help you out with that too, in terms of what cells to pick. But this is a standard size for a bike. It usually weighs between 7 and 10 pounds, depending on the capacity that's inside of it and the kind of cells that are inside it. And those batteries will generally get you between 20 and 40 miles, again, depending on the kind of cells that are inside of it and the capacity that you get. It lasts for anywhere from 5 to 7 years if you follow some general kind of lithium battery maintenance techniques, which most people already know anyway from messing around with their cell phones and other types of batteries.
So it's the same battery.
It's just a scaled up version of what's in your phone or your laptop or something like that. So you take care of it the same way, and it operates the same way. The other thing that we have is the this is the same thing. This is an e-bike battery, but we actually make this case for it right here in the workshop. It's made on a 3D printer, and this is for bikes that can't take this size of battery. Some bikes, the shape is just not right for something like this. And in that case, we can make smaller ones, we can make different shapes, pretty much whatever it takes to get that battery onto that bike.
Cool. And you're doing that here on your custom machine.
That's right, that's right. This is made on the 3D printer right here in the workshop, which also helps us with other things too. One thing we make is the battery box.
Is the battery box. Right. So basically it's just some cells, you pack all the cells in there, you make the box over here, and then you put the whole thing together, and then you bolt it on the bike.
That's exactly right. So that's the battery, and then so that's one half of the process, and the other half is the motor kit, which I'll show you right now. This is the kit that we feature most, and probably 9 out of 10 conversions is done with this motor kit right here. This is the BBS2, made by a Chinese company called Bafang, probably the #1 or #2 e-bike company in the world. This is designed specifically for conversions, and it puts out a surprisingly large amount of power. Over 1,000 watts, depending on the type of battery that you put on it, at peak power. Now, you're not going to use 1,000 watts most of the time while you're riding the bike, but it's nice to have that in reserve for steep hills or for any other situation where you might need a little extra power.
And just for an idea, what would be a comfortable cruising speed with a motor like that?
With a motor like this, you can cruise anywhere from 18 to 22 miles an hour, depending on your desired speed. You can obviously cruise slower than that. Faster than that is going to use your battery quite quickly, so most people don't usually cruise much faster than that, although there are speed demons out there.
I'm one of those. So I think you may have mentioned a little bit how far does it go. I think you may have mentioned earlier about how much distance. About what's the pricing range that people can expect for a conversion kit? What are you looking at from a price standpoint?
So for a standard factory built battery and this motor kit, you're looking at about $1,200.
Okay.
And that includes installation. So that's everything. You bring the bike to me, I give it back to you complete for that price. Let me talk a little bit about the motor first before I get into the pricing, because there is quite a difference in technologies, and you're going to see that in the various price points of electric bikes at bike stores. Most lower priced electric bikes are going to have what's called a hub motor, and that is a motor that's actually built into the wheel, either the front wheel or the rear wheel, and it has some advantages and disadvantages. The main advantage of it is that it's less expensive to manufacture than a kit like this, but the main disadvantage of the hub motor is that it's essentially a single speed vehicle. It's only going to spin at whatever voltage the battery you put on it, and if that hub motor hits a certain angle of a hill, a certain steepness, it can't go any faster and it can't put out any more power. What's going to happen is it's just going to slow down, and all the power that you're going to put into it is going to start turning into heat instead of motion. And if you hit a steep enough hill, you can actually damage your hub motor from the steepness. The main advantage of the mid-drive system is that it drives the bike's chains. And you can use the chain to get into the lower gears of your bike. Your bike has several gears already, or at least most bikes do. And they're designed. The lower gears are designed for climbing hills. So just like a manual car, you can shift into a lower gear, and with the same amount of power, you can climb a much steeper hill than you could with the hub motor. So because of that, that's why we really recommend the mid-drive motor. And the other thing about the mid-drive motor that is superior to the hub drive is that it puts all the weight in the middle.
Okay.
The hub drive is going to make your rear wheel or your front wheel much heavier than it normally is, and you're going to feel that. And it's also going to make it more difficult to change a flat tire, and all kinds of other issues come up with the hub motor in terms of wiring and general kind of day-to-day use with it. With the mid-drive, there's much less of that.
Okay.
This kind of becomes a permanent part of your bike.
Right.
And it's always there, and you don't really have to worry about it once it's installed. And if you get a flat tire or any other kind of bike issue, you just take care of that just like you would a normal bike. There's no special maintenance required with the hub motor conversion. So for those two reasons, that's why we recommend this motor for most people. And the last reason is that it's a more bicycle-like experience.
Yeah.
You really feel like your legs are more powerful, whereas a hub motor always is going to feel a little bit like a scooter.
Yeah.
It just will.
It just kind of, it feels more like you're being pushed as opposed to you can actually push the pedals.
Exactly.
And just for people who have never seen it before, this is going to be, this is your pedal spindle right here.
That's correct.
So this is going to sit right below your bottom bracket. This is your pedal spindle right here, and your cranks are going to hook right into that right there.
Sure. Yeah, you can even go take a look at where they are on the bikes on the display right over there.
So as you can see here, this is the motor that Dave's talking about right here. Here's the crank right here, and this is the pedal spindle. So just the same as what he's got up there. So that's where that's going to live, right next to your bottom bracket. Thanks for explaining that.